Alright, got something new. It's not really a weapon, or it's not a weapon at all. It's just an accessory that I saw in a lot of old ninja movies and old samurai movies that people would carry, or I know in the movie Shinobi no Mono, I think 2, yeah, the character Hattori Hanzo, he was drinking out of one of these, so. And I've seen them in other movies made out of bamboo. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any bamboo, so I went with the gourd route, which I actually like better, I think. I think it looks cooler. But it was a pretty easy project. I just went on eBay and typed in dried gourds, and I got 3 of them. That's a real big one, that's a smaller one, and that's like a medium-sized one. For like 15 bucks, that included shipping. And they were already pre-dried, so all I had to do was drill a hole where the stem was, and I have different size holes. This was like a 3/4 inch hole. I got like a 1/2 inch and like a 5/8 in that one. Cleaned them all out. Coated the inside with canning wax to kind of, I guess, give a proper seal without any liquids won't touch any inside of the gourd. It'll be touching a nice coat of wax. Then I just topped it off with some corks, drilled a hole in the cork to allow for a wooden stopper, tied some rope around it. I got some black rope. This one, which is a medium size, I got some white rope with the stopper actually attached to it. And then I got the size that I actually wanted. This is about 10 inches tall. Cork with a wooden plug and a rope. You can see how this was the first one I did with just the rope. Here was the second one with the rope and the stopper attached to it. And then this was my final one, was rope with a stopper attached, and then a hanging rope to hang on something, or you can put this inside up underneath your belt to lock itself in so you can carry it. So it's a kind of an evolution of my trials of making these. Overall, I think I did all these for around 20 bucks. I mean, you can do these really cheap. These 2 I did stain and coat and lacquer, but definitely a cool project. If anyone wants to do something like this, it's really easy. Just, you can search online, you know, drinking gourds or stuff like that, and you can find really good instructions on how to do them. Pretty much just drill a hole, toss in some BBs or something, some metal ones, and shake them up on the inside of here to break up all the pulp and everything else that was inside, and shake all that stuff out. I had to do it a couple times per gourd because there's a lot in there, but that's about it. Then I just poured some melted canning wax inside of the gourds and tipped it around so the wax covered all the whole inside of it. You don't gotta shake it, you just gotta slowly just tilt it and move it around. Then plugged each hole with some cork that you can buy at craft stores. Drilled a hole in the cork and then made a wooden stopper for it. So it's pretty easy. I mean, took some trial and error, as you can see, from starting off with this one and then going to that one, and then, you know, my finished project, which was the gourd I actually wanted. Looking for sizes, this one's about 10 and a half inches tall. That's, I would say, is a pretty good size gourd drinking vessel. It does hold a lot of water. I tested that out, and it holds, I think this holds about, I think it was like 40 some ounces. Next, I had at least 220 ounces of water that I poured in here, and there was still some room. So you can hold a lot of liquid. But that's really about it. Just a quick little rant about these. Definitely a cool project. I still want to do the bamboo drinking containers. I just got to find some bamboo big enough. But one thing I wanted to ask everyone is, I know it's totally off subject, but I was watching TV last night and this popped into my head. You know, the Japanese, the samurai, and the warrior class in Japan, you know, were a pretty well-rounded fighting force. I mean, they had some of the best weapons. You know, around that time, their steel was great. Everything else was, you know, made very well. But I started looking at the Chinese and a lot of other cultures, and I've never seen a Japanese crossbow or anything like that back in the feudal era of Japan or the samurai era. Like, a lot of other cultures had crossbows. I know the Chinese had them. You know, they were the first to have them, and the Europeans had them. I just found it kind of strange that you never really saw like a Japanese crossbow. Like, how did they you know, skip that? Or they just went from bow and arrow and then they graduated pretty much to firearms. You never really saw any crossbows or even like siege weapons like catapults or ballistas or anything like that. They went straight to cannons. So I don't know if anyone's got any information on like Japanese crossbows, if they ever used them or anything. I don't know. It's just something I always wondered, and I never really saw in any book or anything like that. So if anyone can help me out on that, that'd be cool. So that's my little thought on that too. I should be having another video next week on kind of a touchy subject. Everyone has their own ideas of what quote unquote, you know, a ninja sword looks like. Well, I've had a lot of people ask me, you know, what I think a ninja sword is, and I had an idea, so I'm gonna do a video next week. Hopefully, not too many people get mad at me, but it's definitely something when you think about it makes sense. So that should be coming next week, and besides that, that's about it. Just waiting on the 50,000 views, so you'll know when that comes up. Alright, I'll see you guys later.